In this video, we're going to play around with checkboxes here just to play and hide and show data, as you can see here. With these checkboxes, you can create a level of interactivity, and while this looks quite basic, but you can build on this as well to do more and more. So let's start to explore how we can do this right now. In this video, we will focus on Chartjs with multiple checkbox buttons. So this was a question from one of the viewers. So let me show you first of all where this question came from. So on one of my other videos about how to have multiple charts in one page with Chartjs, and then in here, King Fifal asked the following question. So a special thank you for King Fifal for asking the question, and this is what King Fifal said. I appreciate your videos. Could you make one showing how to have Chartjs work with multiple checkbox buttons? Alright, so it might appear here, and I was not certain about this, that it was related to this specific item, multiple items with checkbox, or maybe with the data. So I'm going to do one with the data because I assume that that is the most common one people have. However, this might be another option in the near future that I will make. However, for now, I'm going to work just with checkboxes that are directly responsive on the chart. So to do this, all we need to do here is to go to chartjs3.com getting started. Just check this link. And then go down here and copy this chunk of code. Once you copy this, and you would like to know what this code does, just please check out this video that covers the JavaScript section of that code. Paste this in here, and if I paste this in and save and refresh, you can see here now we have a nice bar chart here. Very straightforward. Then what I want to do here is I want to cut out this first and then put it in here. That will be my title of this video, of course. Save that again and refresh. There we are. So what we're going to do is basically to create multiple checkboxes where we respond with the data here. To do this, I'm going to create 3 different data sets here. So I'm going to copy this data set, put a comma here, and another comma. There we are. So we have now 3 data sets, and what I will do is just add up some different data. So we have the weekly sales here, all right, and well, this could be this could be the cost. Let's make this weekly cost because this line here is the red line, so we can use that one. That would be most appropriate. We're going to do only one single color. I'll just copy this, put a comma here, and then I'll just delete everything here, including these brackets, and then just put this here, number 1, to make it solid. Next one, we can say here weekly revenue, and I'm going to remove everything except for the second one, and that's a blue line or blue bar chart, bar basically. That is fine. I'm just going to copy that again, paste that in here, make this a solid color, transparency level none, make it number 1, so it's alpha level 1, and then here finally you have the sales, or maybe this is a profit, and then we can get the final third value here. It should be a green or a yellow color, one or the other. That's alright. Comma here. Then here I just delete all of this. Copy this one here again. Put this here on 1. And if I save this now, refresh. Let's see, I have a mistake here. Let's see if I have any commas missing. There you are. Make sure you have the commas or else you get these breaking changes. Refresh. There we are. So we have 3 different items here. If you want to just give it a little bit of difference here, I'll just make this 20. I just put in here 2. There we are. And this, we'll just give this some random numbers. 16, and this will be 10. This one should be 2. There we are. Save that. Now we have nice random data here. Beautiful. Alright. What we want to do here is basically add up checkboxes here. And these checkboxes will directly respond to the data or with the data. At the moment we click on it, the data will remove one of these data sets basically. So that's what we're going to do. So in here, we're going to put in the following. Just here below the canvas, we're just going to put in here an input type. And this type is a checkbox. And what we will do here is we will give it a name to make sure that these checkboxes are all matching together. We say financials, that's alright. And then we say here value equals 0. And then we say here, this could be maybe the, well, if it's 0, 0 will be immediately matching with the data set of 0. So this is the cost item. So this is cost. And what I would like to do here, because we are seeing these immediately, so we want to force the checkbox to be clicked or being checked immediately. So if I refresh now, we have an unchecked one. So I want to, when it loads, it should load it checked at once. So what we're going to do here, we say here, checked, yes, there you are, with a check. And then we want to do here is an onClick. An onClick function here, and this function will be called update chart. Very simple, very straightforward. And here I'm going to grab the value, and the value will be this specific input here. So that will be our value. We say this, and this is referring to this specific checkbox here. So once we did this, we're basically done here. I'm going to duplicate this 2 more times. Once we did that, we're going to give this a proper name. Value will be 1, for this will be the revenue. And finally we have here number 2, and this will be the profit. And in here, this, once we have this, all we need to do here is now add up here a function. So we're going to give this a function, and then we say here update chart. And once we did this, here, we're going to grab the value. So what is the value here? That's basically this item here. So we can give this a line of, what is that? The data set. I'll just give it data. Very straightforward, but I think you can probably give it here a more suitable name that is more understandable, or data set or something like that. I'll just keep it as data. And then what we'll do, if I do console.log and just show you here, at the moment you click on data, what will appear? Because we select here the value of this, and this refers to this entire input here. So if I save this, I refresh, alright, we have revenue and we have profit. Are we missing something here? Let's see. I guess we could just remove the div here. This should not be in here. Alright, save that again and refresh. There we are. So now they're all checked and they are all side by side. They have no fancy buttons, but you can just do that with Bootstrap or any kind of CSS you want. What we want to do here now, if I open up my console log, you can see if I refresh again and I select this, you can see what is happening is we're grabbing the entire this value, or basically the input, which is this specific item here. This checkbox is the value number 2, which is correct because the profit was number 2, this is number 1, and cost is number 0. So what we want to do is now, is just to get not the data, which is the entire input, we want to say this data dot value. If I save this now, refresh, we can see here now, we only get the specific value item. Alright, so now we're almost done here, and what I want to do now is basically this here, matching with this specific item here, showing the data or hiding the data as well. So what we're going to do now is the following. We're going to create a very simple code here, or constant, and this constant, and basically what we want to do is, we want to first of all understand, are we seeing the item, yes or no? And if we do see, so there's basically an if statement, if we do see it, and we uncheck mark it is, hide the item. If we check mark it, show the item. Very straightforward. So we say here, first of all, we say here constant, and we can just say is data shown equals, and then we're going to use one of the specific values here, and I'm going to show you after in a console log how this works. So we say here my chart. Yes, the reason why I'm going to use my chart is we're going to pinpoint this specific canvas. And then we say here dot is data set visible, and if that is so, or what exactly is visible, we want to make sure that this item is visible, because we want which data set to be pinpointed depending on what we select. So this here would be dataset 0, which would mean the cost dataset here, because this here is dataset 0. Remember, it is an array, so index 0. And then what we want to do here, we can just say console log and just say is data shown. Save this, and then what I will do here is we can just comment this out and just see what happens now. I refresh now and I select this. Now this is true. Select this, true. Everything is true, I guess, for now, because we have no dependency yet. So is data shown, yes or no? Right now it just does what it does, but we need to be very specific on here by showing if this is true or false. Right now it's just showing it. So what we're going to do here is very simple. If, let me say your data set, or sorry, data is data shown equals strict false. If that is the case, then we can say here, I'll just say console.log, data is gone, for example. And then we can do another one. Then if, then we can just copy this, but then we say instead of false, we set on true. Then we say data is shown. Then you can say here not gone, but not shown. That's probably more appropriate English. So once I save this, so we can now check again, refresh. Now we select this. Alright, true, data is shown. Or right now it is always true, I realize, because we didn't hide it at all. So what we need to do now is let's hide this. So what we can do here is basically this. All you want to do here is the following. We're going to use the show command. And this is an API in Chartjs that you can use for the legend part here. So basically we're going to use this effect here. So we're basically making a custom legend on our own. So what we say here is my chart, and then we say dot show. If it's false, data is not shown. So if this equals false, we need to show the data, I realize. Because if it's false, it means it's unchecked, and we will check mark it probably. Am I correct? Yes, that's correct. Because if it is false and we check mark this, it will discover we need to show it. So we say here show data.value, which is the number. Very simple. Or basically, that is correct because that is this specific item here. And here, if this is true, if it is shown already, we want to set here on hide data. Alright, so if I save this now and refresh, you can see here now, there we are. So I removed the cost, and cost is the red color. And now I do this and this, and you can see here the legend here also responds. But if I do this, of course this here doesn't really work here. It is of course not the right structure because this is not really showing. It's like a toggle. But this is basically the way you can do it, and we probably have to remove our legend here. That would make far more sense, because if not, it will counteract on our code. So we say plugin here, and then we say I need to do legend. So I need to do this legend display false, comma here, save that, refresh, legend display false. I am surprised it's not showing, but I have to just check. Alright, so after checking, I realize it's not plugin, it's plugin. Sorry, there's an S. But save that, refresh, and now you can see the legend is gone here. And now if we select this here, it will show or hide appropriately. And this is basically the way how you can use checkboxes in Chartjs. Now I'll be making another video where it's specifically pinpoint with the checkbox showing different data here, or basically different charts. So that might be the question that you have as well. So that's one I will be making as well. Next, if you really enjoyed this video, I would highly recommend to check out this specific video here on how to add data labels on top of your bar chart. So basically that will create another level of presentation. It's a nice layer on top here where you can see the values on top here. And we're using, for that specific one, we're using data labels plugin, and it's a quite nice one as well. So this video, it will pop up on the screen right now, so you can click on it and watch that video to learn to present your bar chart even nicer.